Wait, seriously, stop watching this video for just a moment. I would like you to examine the bottom of your wrist. Go ahead, take a look at it. If you spot blue veins, well done. Your relatives likely made it through the Ice Age. If you notice green veins, well done. Your ancestors probably developed civilization while everyone else was shivering. And if you cannot see any veins at all, well done. Your ancestors were biologically invincible, because here is a strange reality. Humans are the only primates on this planet that exist in a color-coded range. If you were to shave a chimpanzee, which you really should not do, they are incredibly powerful and will injure you. You would see their skin is mostly the same shade under the hair. But us, we decided to shed the fur, exit the forest, and travel across the globe totally exposed, which from an evolutionary standpoint was a poor choice. Because the second we lost our hair, we started a biological conflict with a massive burning ball of gas. And your skin tone isn't about race. It is not a social idea. It is a scar from battle. It is a boundary line set between two vitamins that are essentially trying to destroy each other. Here is exactly how the process works. Picture your body being pulled in two directions by invisible giants in a competition of tug-of-war. Giant number 1 is folate. This is vitamin B9. It's vital for reproduction and making sure your DNA doesn't get ruined like an egg. The issue is the sun hates folate. High UV rays wipe it out. So if you live at the equator with pale skin, the sun hits your blood, ruins your folate, and your family tree stops right there. So giant number 1 is yelling, darken the skin. We need a shield. But then there is giant number 2, vitamin D. You require sunlight to produce vitamin D. Without it, your bones turn to jelly, your immune system fails, and you generally have a miserable time. If you have dark skin but live in cloudy northern Europe, you block too much light. You cannot produce the vitamin. So giant 2 is yelling, lighten the skin. We need a solar collector, and you are just the rope caught in the middle. Every variety of human skin from dark ebony to very pale is just evolution trying to reach the Goldilocks zone. Not too dark, not too light, just right for the specific area where your distant ancestors decided to settle the tribe. It is a great system in theory. But what occurs when you push that system to the limit? Well, you get some biological traits that most people do not even realize they possess. Let's start with the base version, the armor. If we examine the foundation of humanity, specifically groups from places like Central Africa, we see the deep ebony skin. In the game of life, this is what happens when you put all your points into defense. Most people assume melanin is just a color, but it is. It is biological sunblock, yes, but it's also a physical barrier. In these deep tones, the body creates melanin in such high amounts that it can look cool or blue. This isn't for looks. It's because the sun in these areas is a constant radioactive beam trying to damage your genetic code. This pigment is essentially a lead shield protecting the DNA in your cells. It significantly lowers the risk of mutations and cancer. For ancestors near the equator, this wasn't just helpful. It was a requirement for staying alive. If you lacked this protection, you didn't live long enough to reproduce. But there is a hidden benefit here that no one mentions. This skin type is very efficient at maintaining skin health. Simply put, it's more durable. It fights off the sun's damage better than anything else. It's the heavy-duty class, so dark skin is arguably the better build. It saves your DNA, it keeps skin looking younger, and it prevents the sun from burning you. But there is a major drawback to wearing heavy armor. What happens when you take that heavy build and move it to a cold, dark forest where the sun rarely appears for months? Suddenly that protection becomes a cage, and evolution had to make a change. It had to remove the armor. As humans moved north, leaving the tropics for the dreary weather of Europe, that heavy protection became a problem. Why? Because the shield works too well. It blocks the sun so well that in low light you can't produce enough vitamin D, your bones weaken, your health fails, and you don't survive. So evolution hit the reset button. It began removing the armor to turn the skin into an efficient solar panel. The first step was light golden brown. This appeared in places like the Mediterranean and North Africa. The skin has enough melanin to prevent burning in summer but is light enough to get vitamin D in winter. It's a perfect balance. Then things get more subtle with olive skin. This is the stealth build. It's common in southern Europe and the Middle East. It has a neutral base with green or gray tones. But as humans kept moving north into the land of winter, evolution got radical. It created fair light skin. At this point, the protection is almost gone. By dropping the shield, the skin takes in UV rays much more effectively. The trade-off? You are now fragile. You have no defense. You burn fast. But the benefit is that you can support your bones on 5 minutes of dim gray light. Finally, we reach the end of the range. Very fair skin. This is the Northern European build. The melanin level here is as low as possible. The skin is milky white or clear. Remember when I asked you to check your wrist? If you have this type, you see your veins because the skin is see-through. It isn't trying to block light. It is desperate to catch every bit of light to prevent illness. So basically, dark skin is a shield against the sun trying to hit you. Pale skin is a desperate attempt to survive in the dark. But nature isn't always perfect. Sometimes the system glitches. Sometimes instead of dark or pale, people turn out blue. And I don't mean sad, I mean actually blue. Meet the Fugate family of Kentucky. In the 1800s, Martin Fugate moved to the mountains. He had a rare gene. He married a woman who also had that same gene. The result? Their children were blue. This is a condition called methemoglobinemia. Essentially, their blood couldn't carry oxygen right, so it turned dark brown, which looks blue through skin. They lived healthy lives, they just looked like they were holding their breath forever. But if you weren't born with that, you can do it to yourself. Look at Algeria. People today have turned permanently gray-blue by consuming silver. Some drink colloidal silver as medicine, but the body can't remove silver. It stores it in skin. When the sun hits, it oxidizes like a photo. You become a living negative. You can't wash it off. You are permanently zombie-colored. These are rare errors. But there is a bigger hidden error affecting millions right now. It isn't from silver. It's because you live in the wrong location. For most of history, you lived where your ancestors did. If you had dark armor, you stayed near the equator. If you had solar panels, you stayed in the north. The system worked. But then we invented the airplane. Suddenly, you can take a pale person built for low light and put them in Australia. What happens? Their skin doesn't just work, it overloads. The risk of burning that didn't matter in Ireland now matters a lot. They get fried. They get cancer. Their biology doesn't match their location. On the other hand, take someone with dark skin meant to shield DNA and move them to cloudy Seattle or London. Their armor works too well. It blocks the weak light, so they can't make vitamin D. They might have bone issues unless they take supplements. This is the modern problem. Your skin is a map of where your family survived. It shows how they adapted to sun or darkness. It's a biological record of history. But that map is now old. We are using ancient hardware in a new world. We have olive-toned people on night shifts. We have dark-skinned people in snowy Canada. We have pale people in the tropics without protection. The war between folate and vitamin D is still happening inside you. But now you have to manage it yourself. So look at your wrist again. Value the veins or the pigment. It's a strategy that kept your family alive for thousands of years. Just use sunscreen if you're a solar panel and take a vitamin if you're armored, because evolution is smart but too slow for modern travel. Thanks for watching.